Sounds like a good plan.
Can you hear us now? So,
Is the, oh, that wouldn't,
can you hear us now? There
Hey.
it is. Yay. We got there. Boop. All right. Well, we're live. We're just not in session yet. So
okay, are we broadcasting?
we are. Well, let me make sure. Boop.
We still got 1 minute.
We are broadcasting.
Okay,
And it is 5:59 on my watch.
everyone's, don't curse for a little while.
For 1 minute.
Forget it.
Wait till we're in session.
Stop cussing for once in your lives, guys.
I don't know. It's so much fun.
Depending on the scenario.
Yeah.
You could write it down and just not say it.
There we go. And then it becomes
Make sure you keep those notes. They'll be like, that was a rowdy meeting. Look what Chris Dar had to say. All right, Tyler.
should we
I
go?
have 6 o'clock on the dot.
All right, then we shall call this meeting of the Willamette Public Library for February 17th, 2026 to order. We'll start with our roll call. Tyler Crook, here. Kipola Napoleon,
Here.
Emily Sims,
Here.
Chris Dar,
Here,
Rebecca Rice,
here.
here. Lainey Salwell, here.
Here.
Robin Onstadt,
Excused absence.
excused absence. Mayor Vicky Hernandez. Maybe later. Sarah Frost,
Here.
Katie Whistler,
Here.
and guest Pamela Warren Chase is not here. Okay, are there any changes to the agenda? This looks like a pretty light agenda tonight, so it should be pretty fun. So there's no changes to the agenda. Are there any corrections to last month's minutes? No. There being no further corrections, the minutes stand approved as read. We don't have any presentations planned for tonight, so we can start with our regular agenda. Sarah Frost with 2025-2026 policy work updates.
So I resent out the library rules for use of policy that I found at another Oregon library. I will be very transparent and say I still have not looked all the way through it. But if anyone else has, I would be happy to hear your thoughts or feedback or things you do and or don't like about this particular policy. So when I can start working on drafting something for our library specific, I can work some stuff in or out. But if you haven't either, that is okay. We can look at it again next month.
Excellent.
And as a reminder, the reason I chose this policy was because it was the most recently updated I could find online from libraries.
And who's it from?
Hillsborough.
Okay. Oh yeah, here it is.
Shout out Hillsborough. Good job.
Hillsborough in the house. All right. So I guess I'll just read that over, and if we have feedback next month, we'll spit it out. Or I guess we could email you throughout the month
That's
with
fine
anything
too.
that comes to mind. That actually might be better, don't you think? Because then you could just sort of
Draft it.
put it aside and like keep the note somewhere.
Yeah, so feel free to email me, but if we discuss it too, that's
Yeah.
fine. Because if you have questions, we'll want to cover questions here, so, because possibly someone else has the same question, or it could lead to other discussion too.
Like, because no person shall improperly use library restrooms.
Which would be actually helpful
Yeah, I
for
can see
rules
that.
of use here.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
'cause do your drugs somewhere else, right?
Well, luckily we haven't had that problem.
Okay.
But we don't have hot water capacity, for, hygiene, care, so,
Oh,
it drains the tank, when people are washing up or other things, so.
I can see, yeah.
Yeah. It actually was a complaint I got, that we run out of hot water, and I'm like, well, it's not like a bathroom you have at home.
Wow.
And it's a small tank, as we all know.
Okay,
That's actually, I'm glad I brought that, because, I mean, yeah, you have to think differently.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah.
alright, then we can go on to, what are we on, the reports. Sarah Frost has I'm on the wrong thing.
Yes, and Lainey, don't forget to chime in if you need to chime in, because I'm not watching the chat, I apologize.
Yes, absolutely, I will.
Okay, so I did provide the monthly report for January, which was pretty minimal. What I shared at the city council meeting last week was that we are in outreach mode. Outreach with Wilmina High School, outreach with Sheridan All-Prep Academy, outreach with Carlton Observatory, outreach with Polk County Family Community Outreach. So we're getting our little busybodies out there and representing and making sure everybody knows how small but mighty our little library is. And other than that, one of the counselors inquired because she noticed that our pantry uses were down, and I did let her know that that could be twofold. One, those numbers are underreported. We do our best to keep up with them, but it is challenging depending on what's happening in here to capture all of the uses of the library pantry. And also we were light on food for several reasons. One, it's a lot of manpower and volunteer work that goes into the shopping, so I let them know that. But then I also had the opportunity to share with them that, thanks to Katie, did you like my song? We have a new community partner, the Free Methodist Church, who has kind of adopted our pantry, I guess you could say in a way, and has already made several large donations. So it's amazing, and we're fortunate, even if it means poor Katie is now volunteering elsewhere. I had nothing to do with that though, I promise.
Can I add really fast that I was actually just talking to them, and they have a small food pantry there that they are going to dissolve and bring it over here, and then they're just gonna put up like a paper over there telling people to come here, because they're only open one day a week and we're open 6.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
they'll be absorbing their entire food pantry.
Wow.
Good to know.
Yeah.
But it's putting resources where it can be most effective,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's amazing. Thank you, Katie.
So cool.
Thanks for being the face of the library. So that's mostly what my library report was about. Before I go into budget, does anybody have any questions? So I did provide, so you guys do have the financials through 50% of the year, so through December 31, I did provide the financials there of where we are sitting, and we are right where we should be sitting with the exception of our book budget, but we're starting to finally get caught up with purchasing and getting books back in, now that I still haven't found a good rhythm, but I'm getting there. Luckily, I asked my small libraries team at our director meeting this last month if they all had good methods for browsing new books and really honing in on what material is and all the different price points. And it's a lot of work. Acquisitions is a lot of work, especially for small libraries. I mean, when I did February's book order, it was almost an entire day's worth of work. Which I mean, right, bigger libraries have somebody, that's what they do acquisitions, so it makes sense. But they're still not, I would say, a good process. Sometimes I end up, not that I get lazy, but I get frustrated having to bounce around websites to where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on what I see here. And I'll find the rhythm, eventually, especially before the new fiscal year hits. But that's kind of where acquisitions are, in the budget, the current budget, so we have some catching up to do.
Is that mostly through Amazon now?
It is, so I do have the Ingram account, and that's one of like, I'll sit down and start trying to compare apples to apples, but the rumor mill in library land is that Amazon Books for Libraries picked up one of the higher ups from Baker and Taylor when they dissolved, and it could be, I mean, I don't know, I didn't look into it, so I can't validate why they are quickly catching up to library needs. It would make sense, I mean, because they're turning on a dime for libraries, and they're providing excellent price points. So most of it is through Amazon Books for Libraries right now, and it's the easiest, quite honestly. So I know like Salem Library has like 10 different vendors that they work through, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of accounts. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. A couple months ago, we did have a counselor inquire as to why we're doing so much of our purchasing through Amazon Books, which is why last month my monthly report was very focused on the updates to the acquisitions. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But Amazon it is, and we're getting great, we're stretching our pennies. Yes, so, which is, I mean, when you're small, you have to kind of look at the pros and cons, so getting books on the shelf for people. And we are changing our internal processes. Instead of sending, cataloging material and then sending it out to Phil Holtz and the cooperative, we are keeping the book local on our shelf for the month it comes out, and then the month following, and then we'll release it to go Phil Holtz out in the collaborative. So that'll give our patrons an opportunity to have access to the books first. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. The library directors are already having a little bit of talk about that because it's not easy to know which one of us in the cooperative do local versus non-local, and patrons don't know that, and it doesn't keep them from putting a hold necessarily on something, so it just means they need to come here to get it. So. Any other questions about the acquisitions?
Are you still having to do, when you buy from Amazon, are you also having to do the work, the man hours of like catalog? I know that when you were getting them before, some of the cataloging was done already. Is that done by Amazon, or are y'all having to put all that in afterward?
Not yet. They're actually working on adding that to their palette of benefits. However, we did move everything in-house, and the Friends of the Library acquired a grant to assist us in moving everything in-house. And I've trained, Amanda is very well trained actually, and she helps with my cataloging as well. And then I've got some other staff members who can now process, and then we have some volunteers who can process as well. So we did move it, and I did some shopping to my fellow librarians, and was like, what are you doing? Are you doing it in-house? Are you not doing it in-house? Are you paying for it? Because one of the other challenges with Ingram is we don't buy enough to benefit from their free shipping and handling. So every book that gets sent, I'm paying an additional dollars on it. So again, like when I'm buying at the price point discount, I have to add $3 to every order, or for that book, because they're all shipping out separately. So that adds up really fast. But with Amazon, it's free shipping and delivery, and it shows up on its release date, which is a bonus. But I think Newberg, what I was going to say is I learned that Newberg does everything in-house with volunteers. So that really inspired me to say we can do that if Newberg can do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, they can do it.
We can definitely. With our capacity and people being eager and the amount of volunteers we're still getting who are interested in helping us. Even though I'm a little bit crazy about the book processing part of it, so as my staff can attest to. But we've had some really good in-house training too. And Amanda, again, she's very thorough, and she's staying on top of cataloging on a weekly basis. The only time she isn't cataloging is when I have to bring new records into the system, cause she's not trained on that, which is a higher level cataloging anyways.
So can you put, just the process of cataloging is what?
Well, it depends, so there's the book prepping process, which is book jackets, item IDs, RFID, the radio frequency identification tags, it's the library address, there we go. So it's a number of just different labels and things that have to go on, and then the book jacket is the part that takes the most time. It is the most time consuming. And so then there's that part of it, but then there's the next part of it, which is putting the item in the computer so people have access to it. And that's where Amanda has access to part of that, but I'm the only cataloger who's been trained in the library to have access to the other side of it. Great questions.
Awesome.
Any other questions? And if anybody ever has any feedback or thoughts, because again, I just haven't been able to ever since this happened, give it my 100% full attention. I'm always open to ideas, always. So if you have an idea, send it my way. But if anybody's ever worked in new book acquisitions, I'm sure you can imagine what a job it is. There's too much to choose from, you guys.
Yeah.
And you really have to know your patron base and what they want and what they're interested in.
And what's coming out.
And what's coming soon.
Yeah.
And then the other part I provided for you guys tonight is the budget that I submitted to the finance manager, and she very graciously accepted it and didn't see any hiccups or red flags. So this is what we are working into the full municipal budget. So the things to really note is I changed my requests and how I put money to different line items. Specifically, my new approach is if I have a line item that directly impacts the cooperative as a whole, the revenues that come in from CCRLS, those funds went to those line items. So instead of it kind of being loose, like what do those funds pay for, or who's responsible for what, like what's the city paying for versus what CCRLS is paying for, I feel like it paints a better picture. So I did that this year, and those line items are books, audio-visual programming, postage, supplies, and subscriptions. So those are the line items where I took the reimbursements and the new collection support line item coming from CCRLS, and I divvied those funds up to those line items. And then everything else comes from the general fund through the city.
Wasn't there talk last year about maybe CCRLS no longer doing the sort of allocating funds?
So that was for net lending, and we are doing away with net lending this coming fiscal year. Net lending's twofold. I'm in support because it's not very equitable across all the libraries. It's kind of the luck of the draw sometimes. And then when net lending came out, it was a tool to encourage libraries to share their collections, which we do now. So there's not a problem there. And then it's very tough to budget for it. So like I can be like, well, I think we're gonna maybe see $6,000 in net lending, but then maybe I don't, and then that revenue line item comes in way under. The opposite, actually, auditors do not like to see if you budget a line item and then you come way over. They don't like to see that either. So it was messy, very messy. So they took all that and created what do we call it? The collection support reimbursement. And I'm happy to share the breakdown, but the pot of money is dispersed, and one of the factors is what is the library currently spending on their materials budget, so that we can support those libraries with the least amount of money to spend. So small libraries actually got a larger chunk of that than, say, the bigger libraries did, because it's meant to support the collection. So, which is a bonus for us. So that is changing with this new budget year. Before I go into the next change, are there questions about the change from net lending to collection support?
What does our, what's the difference in money?
For us, I mean, what we see, for us specifically, we take a little bit of a dip.
Uh-huh.
Bonus is my fellow librarians over in like Amity, Dayton, you know, they get to benefit from it, right? So now we can all, the idea, I should say, is that we can all build healthier budgets. I am well suited and in a good position to say, like, I need this money to go to my collection, and not all municipal budget planning works that way, unfortunately. So we'll see a little bit of a dip, but I mean, we're only talking a few $1,000s. And as you'll see, actually, the budgeted amount of money I asked for is double than what I was budgeted for this year. So books alone, my budget for this year is $5,000, and I've requested $10,000 based on how the allocations of CCRLS reimbursements landed, and also collection support. And also, with Baker and Taylor closing, I believe I had mentioned that we're losing our leasing program as well. And we haven't figured out quite yet what that looks like, but one of the ideas we're entertaining is the $15,000 that's budgeted for that by CCRLS. They would take that and add it to the collection support for the small libraries, so that we can continue again to add new books to our shelves, because that was the biggest concern, is we won't have the 200 books showing up throughout the year for this collection that we weren't paying for. So that would actually get us back up to level with that money to what we typically get on average in a year.
Cool.
So that is, oh yeah, did somebody have a question? So that is the big change to the budget requests this year from our library. It still has to go through all of its processes. Marissa, you know, of course, took my work and will put it into the budget packet and all the numbers. We went through them, we met twice, locked them in, and the budget meetings are scheduled for May. The week of the city council meeting on that Wednesday, with a backup for Thursday if we need it. So mid-May, we should know, you know, how it's looking as far as budget goes. Yes. Questions, because it's this time of year is always like, and I'm always open to feedback, or if we can do things differently. This is the first time I'm trying this new way of writing my budget, because I want it to be transparent to the city council, how we should be spending the monies that we're receiving, and which is to support our services as they assist CCRLS as a whole.
So I'm not, where on here is the book budget? I see children, but.
Well, and we changed the name of it finally this year. So it does say children's books. So way back when I started, there was a children's book line item and an adult book line item, and I was like, I don't need all these line items. Can you clean it up for me a little bit? And so then we got rid of a line item, but we never fixed the line item to reflect that.
Okay.
So one of the things Marissa and I also did this year was clean up the titles of our
Okay.
line items. So you guys will see they'll be more clearly defined.
Okay.
Because yeah, it does, I think programming maybe also says children's programming.
Yeah.
So instead of programming.
Children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cause here's like the
The new
one that's
one.
like,
Yeah.
the one that has the,
Yeah, my budget requests have the new line item names that we'll be going with.
You got that
There
in
was-
this packet?
yeah.
Oh, here, okay.
Did I just keep yours
I
up?
just didn't go far enough.
You don't get to know
I
her.
just didn't go far enough, cause I'm like, okay, now, this looks better.
Sweet, that's really all I had, unless there's questions, about the budget part. And then the only other thing I wanted to pitch is, so city council every year goes through, council goals and setting goals and talking about their priorities. And we have a very high functioning board, within our municipal government. And we have a lot that we're working on, through even just the library and the library board and the Love Our Library. So I just wanted to pitch to see, as we're thinking about strategic planning, if this board would be interested in also maybe setting some board goals. And this accomplishes a couple of things. If board members come and go, there is an expectation that these are the priorities of the board. So even, if we were to lose somebody, but then someone came in and they had grand ideas, which is sometimes great, but it's like this is the capacity and what we are working on together. But then it also helps us to communicate up the chain what our goals and plans are as the city begins looking at possibly working on a strategic plan as well. So I just wanted to pitch the idea, let you guys chew on it a little bit, and then we can bring it back. It's a relatively easy process. We could just spend like an hour work session like we've done in the past, where we talk about some of the things we're doing or some of the things we want to be doing and really prioritize what those goals are, or what we mean, what we stand for, why we're here. It would help also in the strategic planning, but also new library planning as well, to know like what the library board goals are. So that was why it says library board goals under my report.
I support that.
What?
I think it's support.
So I feel like the library board, the way it's been functioning the last couple of years is basically we get here and we listen to how awesome you guys are, and then we all just sort of like bang the gavel and crack a few jokes and then go home. And a lot of the working on programming and stuff has moved over to LOL, which sort of makes sense because it's closer to the funding sources. What kind of stuff would you imagine the library board doing?
Right, so I would imagine if we were to go into a work session, some of the things we would discuss would be prioritizing strategic planning as a goal to ensure all of our groups under the bigger umbrella are aligned. I would also encourage the board to think about what advocacy looks like. But then what's also nice, so for example, and I'd be more than happy to share it with you, I looked at last month the current city council goals, and the library is not mentioned once in them.
What?
And one of the things is, family, things for families to do, it's not worded that way, community, health and safety, and we didn't land on anything. Now granted, they're gonna go into a work session in March, and I've added it to my calendar, but it never dawned on me, they never thought about the fact that we're doing a lot of things that are their goals and are aligned with what they want for their community. So it gives us an opportunity to create and say, here's what we're doing for your community as a library, so that you guys know we are well within your guys' goals, but we're doing a lot over here too, so don't forget
I
about us.
agree, I've been at city council meetings where things have come up where I've heard even Vicky not even remember to bring the library into where the library, I've heard that. So yeah, there's something wrong with that.
So,
No, yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
so
It does feel like they forget that we are a part of city government as well.
and we're doing a lot. We're
Yeah.
doing a lot, so they, like, if they feel like they have to do extra work, they really don't have to, because we are doing a lot. And we fell within 2 categories of their council goals, and they'll be revisiting those again, like I said, in March. And it's, you know, I haven't been through one of those work sessions with the city council in my 10 years, so, you know, I've probably disserviced us by not attending those work sessions, but again, on the flip side, you know, I would hope that there's advocates there who remember all the work we're doing. So if we can create our own goals and say this is what's important to the heart of our library, and everybody signs off on it and gives it stamps of approval, then we also have a working document that we review every year that says, yeah, these are our goals, or, you know, well, we're not doing that so much more, maybe we need to do this, or the economy has shifted, maybe instead of doing this, now we're doing this, and it just keeps us all on the same page.
Yeah, cause one of the things you know, if you're gonna be an advocate, you know, you're working with representatives, senators, this and that, and it's like, at what point? You know, I think that needs to be defined, what board members, because I've almost stepped into it a couple of times, you know, just over, you know, it's not there's no guidelines, there's nothing to go by, and, you know, what is the board's, I think.
Well,
I
you
think
guys
it's
are on my advisory board, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you guys could be like, we need you to change direction, Sarah, or, you know, we notice that this is happening in the community, we need to shift gears to address it. Like, you guys are the advisory, like, nothing gets to city council without going through you guys. You guys are kind of the food chain. There's me, there's you, and then there's city council. So I don't know, maybe if anything, it would help better define that role set, especially as we have some pretty big terms coming up on our library board soon. I mean, not like soon, but soon. So, you know, it would probably benefit the continued growth and future of the library for this team to kind of start setting some of those standards.
I think we should.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And do that before strategic planning, right? Because then we know what our goals are, and that actually will make strategic planning easy.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Lainey?
I'm definitely on board with like setting board goals. I think it's a really good idea. And yeah, like where we can overlap with the city, I mean, it only makes sense to do so, but it's also something that's, I can imagine, is very easy to, you know, they get in their realm and, as anyone would, and miss what other people are doing in the community.
Yep.
But yeah, totally on board.
That's all I have for you tonight. More work.
Okay,
Fun work.
now let's move on to our library board member reports, the chair report. I don't have much to report. I'm still sort of working on getting, well, this is sort of, whenever I do my chair report, I really only have Free Comic Book Day to talk about, and that crosses over with LOL. So, just so everyone knows.
I love that you share about it.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to get a hold of Garrett and make some good plans for this summer. We're hoping to expand the comic book club stuff so that there is sort of an end goal at the end of the summer, that then we can have a published comic that all the kids have contributed to, and if we can get a good plan, then we can go to places like Bulletin Board and see if they'll actually print it and maybe even distribute it around town along with the Bulletin Board or as part of it. I think that would be really fun. And I'm still trying to get a hold of a second cartoonist to come and set up a table and stuff. Yeah. So that's where that's at. How about LOL?
We're doing pretty good, I gotta tell y'all. We sold out for the murder mystery, and that happens in a week and a half. So, it'll be fun to see all the costumes that come together and all the work and what feedback we'll get from folks with the survey. We do have if anyone's available, wants to show up, we're moving stuff from the campus on the 21st, this Saturday at noon. And any decor you might think would apply to the Immortal Realm, we're welcoming on loan, please. And we will be decorating on next Thursday, February 26th at noon. And there will be sandwiches, so
Oh.
please come and help us decorate. I know that's a hard time with regular work schedules, but that's what's going on with Murder Mystery. More updates afterward, and we will be making a donation of $300 to Ski and Ride for the Cure in partnership with our caterer, Sally Shank. And that's her beloved benefit. That will be happening on March 7th and 8th, coming up quickly, so check out skiandride.org. Yes, don't put
type
for the
out-
cure.
Don't type out for cure.
Skiandride.org.
They don't
Yes.
own that website anymore, so.
Fellow LOL board members, anything you would like to share, LOL report?
No, I think it seems to just be progressing very well. There's a bunch of different grants sort of being explored, and there's some, we've won recently, right? What all have we gotten?
We got the YCCC grant for Comic Book Day, and we also received, is that the Penguin? No, Roundhouse Foundation for technical services. So that'll be money that we can use toward building or whatever expenses. No, that's for the book binding. The book binding, I'm sorry, excuse me. There's another one we have submitted for general operating expenses, for $15,000. We will hear about that in May, and then Dollar General Summer Reading Grant for $3,000. Also, the decision will come in May. And, we will have the news register here Saturday night for the
Oh,
murder
See, I
mystery.
like it.
Yes,
Excellent.
they'll be here as folks arrive at 5 and stay for about 45 minutes. They're doing a piece on what Love Our Library is up to and the murder mystery event. So, great exposure. She reached out to Tyler. Tyler wrote an amazing email back to her.
News register, that's,
McMinnville newspaper. Yep. So
Nice.
spread the word, LOL, and all the great things for the amazing and mighty Willamina Public Library. Thank you all.
Yeah. And we got no Robin today, so we'll skip the Willamina School District stuff. And we got no Mayor Hernandez here either.
I could probably share really quick
Oh, yeah.
on city council stuff, since mayor and city manager aren't here. So at the last city council meeting, I'm putting this out there for the world, the YouTube world, but the 4th of July committee did come to give a small presentation and thanks, because the city's donated to them. But they are currently looking for somebody to step up as president. And they are
of the July 4th.
4th of July committee. So I'll just put that out there because that's probably one of the biggest things for the community, especially right now with it kind of coming around and they're doing fundraisers already for next year's fireworks. And then the other, that was just last week, so what was the other big thing to share? Bridget's back.
Oh,
That's
good.
big news. So I sat down with Bridget and Mayor last Thursday to recap all the happenings that happened in January and give the reins back over to her now that she's back in-house full-time. And there was something when I said, I'll give that report, and I'm like, oh no, I don't remember what that thing was now. So it might come back, or you're welcome to read the minutes, which is always a good time for the city council meetings.
Was it the food truck?
So that was the planning commission meeting, work session, a planning commission and city council work session at the end of January. And they did have lots of recommendations, and they did work through some development code. So if you are interested in knowing more about where that's going to land, we're just waiting for the feedback to come back from all the parties to make the magic happen, contract planner, probably city attorney, and then at some point the planning commission will begin their public hearing process. So.
Excellent. Any word on the pond?
Good thing it got stable before the crazy storms. So, no, and, the city's currently, so we're wrapping up the water intake project, which is a huge, huge thing. You know, that was many years, multi-million-dollar project. And then right now, the kind of focus has shifted a little bit more now that the pond is stable. It's gonna be an ongoing process to the wastewater side of things, because we have pumps. So sometimes when you hear the chatter about like when there's these overages, and we can't keep up during storm events, it's because our pumps can't keep up. We're at capacity, and it's really hard. And it's not like we're talking like wastewater. A lot of times that means stormwater, which is a considerable difference, but DEQ still looks at it as an overage. So right now, some of the grant funding that the city's looking at is to kind of help address some of those things. So again, just huge infrastructure after infrastructure after infrastructure project, lots of money. So yeah, we applied. So when Bridget was out, Marissa worked with some partners to get some grant applications completed and submitted. So I'm just working through the things, but the pond is part of the discussion still. It's just also part of a lot of other discussions.
Is there any public here?
No.
Then we shall not have any public input. Do you wanna go over the calendar real quick?
Yeah, and I didn't include, and I feel really bad, but this Saturday, February 21st, is our beloved Faye Day. We used to hold this the last Saturday of the month, but now that belongs forevermore to the murder mystery, I think. So on the Saturday before that, now we'll have our Faye Day, and our amazing little Faye Day volunteers have made goodie bags for the kiddos to come and get that day. There's a whole story about Faye Day and where it comes from, and there's coloring pages out, plus we have the Faye Day scavenger hunt in the kids area. So we'll be celebrating Faye Day again for our 5th year this coming Saturday at 11 a.m. and then we'll be closed next week. Monday is cleaning and shifting, and Tuesday is carpets, Wednesday is nothing, Thursday is decor for murder mystery, and then Friday, Saturday is murder mystery. There'll be some cleanup that happens that following week, but we'll be open, and I'm not worried about things being at 100%. Last year it took, some time to get through everything. It'll be fine. If anything, it just creates wonder and excitement. And then all of the outreach events we have are also on the calendar there. Our next board meeting. And in April, thank you, love our library. So with what I have remaining in my training budget line item, and along with Love Our Library, I'm sending Bethany and Katie to facilitator training for some parent education courses. And so if everything goes swimmingly smoothly, this summer we could offer our first parent education courses for the community. So that was a heavy bill, and but it falls in line with our early literacy goals, I think, and supporting the community. And we continue to work with Sheridan All Prep Academy, and I even reached out to their early childhood learning center and is this something you think your families would benefit from? And she's like, absolutely, these are the things we're talking about. So I think those types of things that we can offer here would be a great opportunity. And we partnered with Mid-Willamette Parenting through our contact Abby at Polk County Family Community Outreach. And we'll be working with them because normally they stipend facilitators to offer these courses. So they'll be working with me to do some kind of reimbursement so that the stipends are actually coming through to support payroll costs that go into offering these courses to the community as well. Yep, that's that.
Awesome.
It is awesome.
Alright, unless there's anything else, we can adjourn at 6:43.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, ladies.